get the best price.
This is one of those times where you the right answer.
So it is Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador online at prg-ne.com.
Hot tub season is here, and to celebrate, Bonsall Pool & Spa is having a Labor Day sale so good that they're offering it for the whole week. Purchase a new High Life Collection or Limelight Collection spa and receive a free step and cover lifter from now until September 11th. Stock will go fast, so hurry in and claim your new spa today. It's the Labor Day sale from September 1st through the 11th at Bonsall Pool & Spa at 33rd and Highway 2 or at bonsallpool.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any backyard landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Where's the most convenient place to get fitness in? It's Planet Fitness. Now through September 13th. Join for just down $10 a month, cancel anytime. 400 locations and equipment for every workout. You can get in, get energized, and get going. Plus, with free fitness training, clubs open 24 hours. Everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Cancel deal ends Wednesday, September 13th. See Home Club for details.
IT projecting up again? Managing IT can definitely be frustrating. Whether you have an in-house IT department or you manage it yourself, let Hamilton be your experts. At Hamilton, we take the frustration out of your business tech issues with managed solutions. We specialize in co-managed IT. Does your business need better managed IT? Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys want a happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainer.
I want to take a bit of crumb without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico joining you guys as usual. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How was the weekend?
Oh, it could have been better, but it's okay.
Patriots fell.
Yep, they put up a good fight against the Eagles.
Yeah,
and Jalen Carter, but it's okay. They are fine. Jalen Hurts, all the Eagles.
Yeah.
Look, they could have got blown out. They were down 16-0 at one point, and they only lost by 5 points. So I'm okay with it.
Okay.
It was a good showing. The defense did really well. The offense did bad, and then really good towards the end. But it's fine. They'll be fine.
And you got to honor Tom Brady.
Yes, they will be better this season than I thought they will.
Okay.
They will not be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Not in the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Because we don't know if Caleb Williams is going to go.
Well, it's the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Unless you're a bad team. Unless you're like
the Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
Which it feels like that's the only team that he's sitting there going, nah, I'm good with.
It could be the Rams.
I'll pass. The Rams beat the Seahawks on Sunday.
Did they win? I didn't know if they won.
The Rams did beat the Seahawks on Sunday.
I only see the clip of Geno Smith yelling, "Oh my God," when Aaron Donald's running at him, which would be my response as well.
Yeah, and there's been some good mic'd up moments, but nonetheless, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951. Now, Matt Rule just got done speaking about, 45 minutes ago or so, as I just got back from the stadium about 10 minutes ago. Matt Rule with a lot of non-committal comments about Jeff Sims, right? Because that's the big question mark going into this Saturday's game against Northern Illinois, is whether or not Jeff Sims is going to be the play caller, under center for Nebraska's offense. And basically, first off, Jeff Sims did not practice last night. Today is Nebraska's day off. But Jeff Sims did not practice last night. Matt Rule did say that Jeff Sims has an ankle injury. It's not initially as bad as a normal high ankle sprain would have been or would be. And he quantified that by saying he's not going to be out 4 or 5 weeks.
So he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks.
But that's not the case.
It's a high ankle sprain. It's still not great.
That's not the case, as we also heard from Matt Rule say that if Jeff Sims was healthy, he's our for sure starting quarterback. You'll remember on Saturday, there were Matt Rule being the guy, and Jeff Sims did not speak on Saturday after the game, because when a player is injured, they do not speak to the media after a game. But what we heard from Matt Rule on Saturday was that there was not even a conversation regarding the possibility of changing quarterbacks. Not necessarily being, I said it earlier this morning, we always put such a negative idea and belief with the term benching. But at times it really felt like Jeff Sims just got sped up pretty quickly on Saturday, and maybe just needed a breath. And also Nebraska in the first half was running the ball relatively well. They ran Gabe Ervin 14 times, and he had a really nice first half. Ramir Johnson had a couple of carries. The quarterback run game in the first half wasn't all that active.
No.
It was much more of a traditional running game.
It was a lot more handing the ball off to the running back and Jeff Sims sitting in the pocket to throw passes. You weren't having a lot of, and that might have, maybe you would have liked to see some quarterback draws at least or something along those lines, but not a lot of Sims, A, having to escape the pocket to make something happen, and B, getting the snap and immediately looking to run the ball. So they switched things up a bit, didn't want to run them as much, but it just, like you said, it seemed a little sped up. And I guess that's kind of the biggest red flag for me, is the fact that there wasn't even a conversation. Not to say that you were going to, but to not even have a conversation as to like, hey, do you think maybe he should sit for a series just to like calm himself down? Maybe, the quarterback, maybe Satterfield, sits with him, or not Satterfield since he's calling the offensive plays, but maybe Rule sits with him and is just like, hey man, like, what are you seeing out there? What are we seeing? What are the people up in the box seeing? And just kind of going through things and trying to figure out why things aren't working out. Are the snaps too low? Do we need to figure something out here? Do you want to go under center a little bit more? I don't know. Just changing some things up in the moment to hopefully help him get past some of the issues that he was having on Saturday.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. We'd love to take your phone calls. Definitely get to a good chunk of the texts that come in here on Monday's show, as we just kind of dissect Nebraska's 36-14 loss against Colorado on Saturday. A game where Nebraska struggled with turnovers. They struggled just finding any sort of offensive rhythm. And now this has
continued over the course of 8 quarters of play, basically. And you go into this game against Northern Illinois, a team that, yes, they knocked off Boston College a few weeks ago, obviously in a group of 5 versus Power 5 game. They come then this weekend and they fall to Southern Illinois 14-11. They're also led by starting quarterback Rocky Lombardi.
We've heard that name before.
You might recognize that name, former Michigan State quarterback Rocky Lombardi, who was the starting quarterback for the Spartans in Nebraska's 9-6 win back, I believe, in 2018, and that was Scott Frost's first year.
It was snow, right?
It was a snow game. It was a 9-6 Nebraska victory, and I think Rocky Lombardi it was bad stats. Threw an interception, did not complete a high percentage of passes.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, the elements might have played a factor into that, but Nebraska ended up winning 9-6 that game. So you go into this game of Northern Illinois, and Matt Rule said it today, the scariest man or team is a team that has nothing to lose. And so that's what Northern Illinois has. Northern Illinois, not noise. Northern Illinois has.
Illinois.
Is they have nothing to lose. Nebraska, and this was maybe alarming from Matt Rule today. He said Nebraska is afraid of losing and they're trying to learn how to win. And so the fact that Nebraska is afraid of losing should not give you much confidence, I don't think.
If I can find this. They want to win so badly they're afraid to lose.
There you go.
Which means they're afraid to win.
There you go. So in a way, a little alarming. Sound off the sirens, I guess, if you're a Nebraska fan.
It's one of those things where you want this team to win games. You want them to want to win games, and that's where they are. It's going to sound really confusing. They're at a point where they've lost so much that it's just one of those things where you need to get back in the win column. You want to get back in the win column so badly that you'll do anything to get there. And the thing is that you want to play perfect football to get there. The problem is very rarely do people play perfect. Very, very rarely do people do anything perfect. So when you're trying to do things perfect, that's sometimes you might mess things up, because if you have to do this at this exact time, you have to be at this exact spot at this time. If anything throws you off, all of a sudden your brain can't comprehend exactly what's going on because you've been so ready and so preparing yourself to do this at such a perfect level that if one thing goes awry, all of a sudden nothing works, and you start pressing. You start messing up because one little rock in the road threw off everything.
So here we have a text, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line. We get this from an unnamed texter. It says, people keep saying that the defense played. No, there were turnovers, short field, and rest issues, but can we really say that the defense played well if they gave up 36 points? Now, I guess just and with you saying short field and turnovers and rest, lack of rest in between drives, that's kind of the point, I think, is that it's not that you give them leeway, because one of the most glaring plays that probably was it deflated Nebraska's chances at coming back in this game, because it felt like the offense always had such a big mountain and tall mountain to climb when on offense to find points, was on Tommy Hill's incorrect decision to basically come closer to the line of scrimmage and get beat on the deep route by Travis Hunter. Right?
He got caught,
fourth down.
He got caught flat-footed.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting him to run past him. He thought he was just going to try and get the first down, stop at the first down line and try to get open right there. And he got caught flat-footed. Didn't turn his hips in time, and he just got burned.
And so when you look at this defense, we'll just rattle off a couple of things here. We've been saying it all morning. The 8 sacks, the 11 tackles for loss. Those are great numbers. They're holding opponents this season to less than, I think, 2.5 yards per carry on the year. Now they've faced 2 schools, and this is weird saying it, out of Minnesota, that have passed it a decent amount. Ethan Kaliak-Manis was a really good athlete that was able to find some of his receivers. And Minnesota was experienced on the perimeter. They have a 7th-year guy in Chris Ottman-Bell. They have obviously a 6th-year guy in Brevin Spanford. They were experienced on the perimeter, and they also had Corey Coombs, who was the main factor in that Minnesota game for Nebraska. So they faced some more of teams that have been maybe passed. And we know what Colorado was able to do. And Nebraska's secondary, for the most part, played really well in that first half. And Shedeur Sanders, for as much as he could, struggled in those first 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we always talk about this eye test and like how it looks on the field. And Shedeur Sanders over the last 2 weeks has been so accurate. And basically from the eye test, it's just really felt like when he's in there, he's calm, which obviously creeps into the rest of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
That there was never a sort of panic from Shedeur Sanders other than in that first half against Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he was still able to complete some passes that they were just intended to complete.
Mm-hmm. They weren't scoring at the level that they probably wanted to in the first half. But again, that's something that you can give to Nebraska's defense for playing as well as they did given the circumstances in the first half. But then as Shedeur and the Colorado offense got more comfortable in the situations that they were being put in against Nebraska, you saw his completion percentage rise. You saw their scoring, get a lot quicker. You saw the passes getting completed at a higher rate, and the passes he was throwing, even when he was under duress. I mean, that's just a good quarterback doing what a good quarterback does.
I think it was also, part of what allowed Colorado to kind of get into a rhythm and get settled in was that Nebraska started pressing. Was that Nebraska started getting out of control. They started the 3 and outs. They continued with the turnovers,
mm-hmm.
right? I think one thing with Nebraska in the first half of Saturday's game was that Nebraska was sustaining drives, although it didn't result in points. They were on the field for a little longer than 2 minutes each drive, which once again, in the second half, their longest drive was 2 minutes and change. And so, you look at some of these drive charts, and this goes back to the question of, can we really say that the defense played great when they gave up 36 points? And I think you look at what Colorado did in the second half, and you look at Nebraska, and you just kind of compare the drive charts, right? Nebraska, not once in Saturday's game did they start on the plus side of the 50. Not once did they start any drive in Colorado territory. Colorado had 3 drives that they started in Nebraska territory,
mm-hmm.
right? And in those 3 drives, points came out of every single one. Outside of, I should say, the final drive where they fumbled. So I apologize. But in that first half, in the second quarter, on back-to-back drives, where Nebraska fumbled, they had the second fumble, and Jeff Sims threw the interception on the, I believe, near sideline. Colorado scores a field goal on a drive that they took over on Nebraska's 19-yard line. The defense stands tall and forces a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a drive that Colorado started on Nebraska's 30-yard line, that was the outpost play or pattern, or I should say crossing pattern, to one of the receivers that Shedeur just threw a really nice ball to, and it was an easy touchdown.
Yep.
So once again, Nebraska, their defense in that situation, it's hard to, I guess, put the blame on them for the 13 points that were allowed in the first half, because then you look at the following drive and it was because of a poor decision. This is the difference. I think this was as glaring, and if we needed something tangible and an example to point to, this would work. On Saturday, on Nebraska's last drive in the second quarter, Jeff Sims scrambles, which was probably the right play, scrambles in the final minute and runs out of bounds so he doesn't get hit. That allows then the clock to stop. Colorado gets to save their time out there, and Nebraska punts it away, which the punting game on Saturday was not very good either.
Yeah, Bashini was a little off.
The punting game was not good either on Saturday. And so you look then at Colorado, what happened on that following possession. They took over with 49 seconds left on their own 37-yard line. They go 6 plays for 50 yards, and they get a field goal out of that drive. However, because of it was a bad decision by Shedeur Sanders to take the check down on that last play from scrimmage before the field goal, when there was 1 second left on the clock, and thankfully for Colorado and for their fans, got down with 1 second, so where they could all call a timeout.
It's one of those
But
situations where sitting on your couch, you say you should have held him up. You shouldn't have brought him down to the ground. But in the moment, it's just tackle this guy.
Well, and that's the thing, though. But once again, Colorado dodged a bullet in that situation. But if Nebraska would have stayed in bounds, forced Colorado to burn their final timeout, and then because of a bad decision on Colorado's part, they wouldn't have gotten points.
If Coach Prime wasn't as close to the ref as he was, that 1 second's running off, and they're not getting that field goal up. He was right next to him, which obviously he knew this the down distance time, the situation that he needed. So he was right next to the ref. So as soon as his guy got tackled, he was there to call the timeout. But yeah, a bad decision by Shedeur. One of the few bad decisions that Shedeur and Colorado's offense made that day to throw that check down. But I mean, Nebraska had held Colorado's offense in check until the final 3 drives of the second quarter. And that's where you gave up the 13-0 lead to go into halftime. And maybe that gave Colorado enough confidence to come out of in the second half.
Yeah.
And they're on they had the ball first, I believe.
Nebraska did. Yeah.
Nebraska had the ball first, and Colorado's defense gives up the long running play to Jeff Sims. And then Colorado's offense just starts clicking again.
Yeah.
Those 13 plays, two turnovers, a bad punt, a bad mistake by Jeff Sims to run out of bounds, 3 mistakes. And that's what led to all 3 points.
It's interesting because once again, you just compare the drive charts for each team, and 402, 464, 5685. I look at the first 4 drives for, even let's be honest, first 5 drives for Colorado, which means first 5 drives for Nebraska's defense. And through the first 5 drives, Nebraska's defense allowed, 45, 49, 40, 50. Through the first 5 drives, Nebraska's defense allowed 56 total yards and 0 points. 56 total yards, and I guess 3 with the field goal. I apologize.
Yeah.
And so at some point there in that first half, Nebraska has a missed field goal. They have 2 fumbles. If you want to talk about the following drive, Nebraska, that's an interception. So it's difficult, and I think it's somewhat unfair for us to sit here and go, man, Nebraska's defense gave 36 points to Colorado's offense. Well, yeah, towards the end of the game and in the third and fourth quarter, when Nebraska's drives look like this, punt, fumble, turnover on downs, and it's the fourth quarter, and Nebraska's longest offensive drive is 2 minutes and 48 seconds.
Let's say you didn't have the ball for very long in any of those, where Colorado had 3-minute drives because they were kind of trying to drain the clock, but also still moving pretty fast. So they've got 3-minute drives where your defense is still out there. Granted, and this isn't to take all of the blame off the defense. Your job is still out there. Your job out there is still to stop the other team from scoring, regardless of how tired you are. I understand that. But at the same time, if you can get any type of assistance from the other side of the ball, that would be wonderful.
It's kind of crazy to see and look at this because Nebraska in the first half kind of did without scoring points. Stuff that we were kind of saying on Saturday morning and all of last week of what they needed to do to be at halftime and still in this game. And frankly, down 13-0, you're still in this game. But it's the time of possessions. Drives in the first half featured drives of 4 minutes and 51 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And also, there's a couple other ones in there of where, obviously turning it over, it goes a little quicker. Colorado's longest drive in the first half was 4 minutes long, and it ended up ending on a punt, right? Because Nebraska's defense, that was the whole bend, don't break thing, and everybody's like, all right, Nebraska's going to be okay if their defense stays strong.
Colorado only had the ball twice in the first quarter.
But then here we are, Nebraska's defense in the second quarter. Second half, rather. Colorado had drives. Their shortest drive was on the last drive of the game, and it was a fumble. And their shortest drive was 1:24. We saw a complete flip, where Colorado's drives in the second half, 3 minutes long, 3:01, 3:45, 4:09, 3:03. And man, that's a quick turnaround when Nebraska's drives are 137, 144, 126, 138. I mean, that's less than 120 seconds of game time. Or I should say now that's less than 3 minutes of game time. That defense has been able to be on the sideline catching a breather. At some point
in the thin air.
At some point, you look at, this first half, and you can look at Minnesota, and it's just missed opportunity after miscue after missed opportunity. Because, man, 48 hours removed from that game, in those first 5 possessions where your defense allowed 56 yards and 3 points, and that 3 points coming from on a drive that started on your own, on the Nebraska 19-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you have to show for it? 2 fumbles, an interception, and a missed field goal that, frankly, once again, don't want to bury that, needs to be hit.
I was going to say, how different is, I understand it's only 3 points, but how different is Nebraska's momentum going into the second quarter up 3-0? Holding this Colorado offense that put up 45 points last week to no points, and you're up 3-0 going into the second quarter after how long was the drive where they missed it? A 5-minute drive to miss a field goal. That, I think that was again, not like a defining moment, but I feel like that needs to be talked about more. As the turnovers are what they are. They're very bad. It shouldn't happen. Those are drive killers, backbreakers. But that field goal, how close it was to going in, and to have it bounce off the upright and you to, stay tied with Colorado 0-0, I think that really hurt a lot of Nebraska's momentum, because you're going 5 minutes, just pound it, and you're feeling real good about it. And then it ends in no points.
Well, and you can even say that regarding the opening drive of the game for Nebraska. An 8-play, 38-yard drive featured a heavy dose of running. The whole first half did, and in a half where you gave Gabe Irvin 14 carries through 2 quarters, and he only gets 3 carries in the second half. But on that first drive, you took up 4 minutes and 51 seconds. You got down to the Colorado 35, which, as what we believe is in Tristan Alvano's range, it also could be on the edge of Timmy Bleakroad's range, whoever you want to send out there. And you unfortunately fumble. And so it's just really, really difficult to swallow if you're a Nebraska fan. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line. Both of those open for you guys the entire show. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the defense. No Steve Marik today. So let's go ahead and take a break. Let's dive into the defense a little bit more. Also, NFL weekend. We'll do all that and more coming up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of happiness next on 93.7 The Ticket and the TicketFM.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Rico here with HIS 70th Van, and letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention that, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
When you think of places with tons of great beer selections and amazing food menu in Omaha, conversation should start and end with Bearschen Beer Garden in Benson. With more than 30 beers on tap, including several German options, you're sure to find something you love. And don't forget their Nashville hot chicken sandwich or any of their delicious hamburgers. Start off with the warm house-made pretzels and you're on to a great day at Bearschen Beer Garden in the heart of Benson in Omaha.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction. Layton all the way to Courthouse Highway. but the lot full of this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle.
Join us at this year's Ignite Lincoln 15 at Rococo Theater on Thursday, September 14th for an inspiring night of stories that spark change. Get your tickets at Ignite Lincoln. Don't miss this chance to be a part of something extraordinary.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The Electrical Workers Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Imagine a world where no one explains the rules of the game. No discussions of how money works. No game plan for how education supports your future job or career. And certainly coaching to start run a business. Too many young people leave school without critical skills in financial literacy, work and career readiness, and entrepreneurship to reach their potential in life. Junior Achievement is working on leveling the playing field, but we can't do it alone.
Be a game changer. Visit ja.org/volunteer.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices. Hot tub season is here, and to celebrate, Bonsall Pool and Spa is having a Labor Day sale so good that they're offering it for the whole week. Purchase a new High Life Collection or Limelight Collection spa and receive a free step and cover lifter from now until September 11th. Stock will go fast, so hurry in and claim your new spa today. It's the Labor Day sale from September 1st through the 11th at Bonsall Pool and Spa at 33rd and Highway 2 or at bonsallpool.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way. Pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure. Pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Blecker and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see some morning fog as well as a slight chance of showers. Otherwise cloudy this morning. We'll see partly sunny skies this afternoon, though, with a high of around 74. Tonight, mainly clear skies, a low of around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see most sunny with a high of around 77. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forage, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20, Orchard, Nebraska.
Iron Recognition is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Iron Height Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Iron Height Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironheightconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico joining you guys per usual. Make sure you stick around the rest of the day here on The Ticket. And this week is a very, very exciting week. We are full go into the new studio this week. So new station down at 11th and O Street. If you drive by like right now, you can probably see they're working on it. They're finishing it up.
There's a lot of people in there.
There's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. Super excited, obviously.
See the cool sign. You can see where we're going to sit. All the decals are in there now.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. All in time for the first home game of the year, which is against Northern Illinois this week. Just as a programming scheduling note for Nebraska football, they will face off against Louisiana Tech in 2 weeks on September 23rd, which is kind of crazy to think that we're already almost halfway through September.
Welcome back to Coldest Crawford.
Yes, Dakotas Crawford makes his return to Nebraska.
His first game. He'll play his first game on Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, I suppose. No, I thought he had a catch for Nebraska.
No, he tore his ACL before the season
That's
started.
right. Thank you. There's been a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, no. So he'll play his first game in Memorial Stadium for Louisiana Tech.
So, yeah.
And we'll also get to see former Boise State quarterback. What's his name? He was a freshman and he was really good. And then he transferred. What is his name?
Can't think of it.
I can't either.
Either way,
the text line knows.
Louisiana Tech and Nebraska. It's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff on the Big Ten Network. This weekend against Northern Illinois, it's a 6 p.m. kickoff on Fox Sports 1.
Night game.
And Rocky Lombardi will be in town. I'm just gonna call it Rocky Lombardi week. Rico,
Is it the Rocky Bowl?
Trivia question. You probably know because of social media memories.
Oh.
What happened a year ago today?
A year ago today?
A year ago today. What happened?
I was going to say the Buffalo game, but that was 2 years ago.
That is not what happened. Let me tell you.
Today. Give me a second. Can you give me a hint?
No, because it'll give it away.
Right away?
Yes. Let
All
me
right,
tell you.
Tell me.
Nebraska, a day after losing to Georgia Southern, fired Scott Frost. A year ago today.
Wow.
A year ago today on September 11th, 2022, Nebraska fired Scott Frost.
We were 3 games deep today last year?
Because we were week 0.
Oh, week 0. You're right.
So there you go. So Nebraska, just yesterday, a year anniversary of losing to Clay Helton and Kyle Van Treese and Georgia Southern. Then today,
that was
Nebraska,
a fun game.
Nebraska. Well, it was not fun.
It was a fun game.
The post-game show was not fun either.
No. It was a fun game if you didn't care about the outcome.
That is true.
And now looking back on it, caring very heavily about the outcome.
Yeah.
But now looking back on it, if you watch that game, pretty fun to watch.
It was all right.
Pretty fun to watch. A lot of points. No defense. None whatsoever.
But yes, Scott Frost fired a year ago today. Mickey Joseph then took over as the interim a week before Nebraska welcomed Oklahoma. Oklahoma team that was led by Brent Venables as well. So and Dylan Gabriel.
That looked as good as they did last week against Nebraska last year, but then fell off the face of a cliff.
Yeah, because then it was like followed up by the 49-0 loss to Texas at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nonetheless, just a wild ride these last 365 days have been. Nebraska trying to find their way
into that Oklahoma drama.
No. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line. Both of those open for you guys the entire show, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We got plenty to talk about. We are going to have a little bit of a baseball corner in the next segment because there was some news surrounding the Chicago Ubs earlier today.
And the New York Yankees.
And the New York Yankees. Your guys' top prospect, a little bit banged up. He's a lot banged up. Quite a bit banged up.
Call somebody else up.
But anyway, Chicago, 77 wins, by the way. 77 wins.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
And they're 2 games. They have a 2-game lead on the wild card spot as well. So, no, but that all is coming along with weekend picks in the next segment. So, with this in mind, a couple other things that Matt Rule said today. He's definitely okay, I want to say this as best I can without trying to come across as aggressive or calling him out. He's definitely leaned more on Husker fans, be patient. This is a process. Trust the process over the last couple weeks. I also, something that you picked up on was that, I don't know if you did, Rico, something that I should say I picked up on was
rude.
Never forget, and I wasn't trying to be rude there. Never forget back when in one of Matt Rule's early press conferences, it was, I know that these guys didn't sign up to play for me, but they're still my guys. Matt Rule on Saturday said something along the lines of, don't forget, these guys didn't sign up to play for me or play for us. So just be kind of cognizant.
Seems like we're changing our tune
of what's going on and what's kind of being discussed. And I want to say that just as kind of an observation and not trying to come across as aggressive.
No, we're reading into this and we're getting aggressive because he says that these guys want to win so bad that they're, it's hard to win, all this stuff.
They're afraid to lose.
And he talks about wanting to win and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then he comes out today and it's like, hey, this is what you get when you hire me. You're not going to win right away. Like, no, man. No, I thought we were trying to win. You can't just throw this out like, oh, you've seen where I've been all these other year ones where we don't win right away, but we'll win in the future. Like, nah, man, we want to see some wins.
Well, and so with that in mind and taking that into account, okay, because Nebraska fans, understandably so, are going to be, you can only say the track record so long, okay? Because through these first 2 weeks, there's been a lot of disappointments. Probably the disappointments have overshadowed the few and far between highlights.
Yeah.
So I tweeted this out while at the press conference today. He was asked by Mitch Sherman of The Athletic about the expectations going forward for Nebraska. And this was a part of his quote. It said, quote, "This is what you get when you hire me. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be fixed overnight. I understand if there's frustration. We're trying to learn how to win." But then later in the press conference, he made a quick comment of, we're going to do everything we can right now to win today. And so I'm not trying to throw Matt Rule under the bus. That's not what we're trying to say.
I'll do it.
That's fine. I'm not trying to come at Matt Rule and pick apart every little thing he says. But I think understandably and rightfully so, things are put under a microscope when there's a lack of success. Whether that's 2 games into the season or whether that's 8 or 50.
Look, Matt Rule's good with his words. He needs to probably pick his words a little more carefully, because if you're going to talk about not winning right away, but then speak on, doing everything you can to win, almost sounds like you're just trying to, give people something good to cling on to. But also at the same time, if you're doing everything you can to win, you need to probably make some hard decisions. And again, this isn't all on the quarterback. There are other hard decisions that needed to be made, other hard decisions that still need to be made, like benching your leading rusher from last season due to fumbling issues, and doing whatever else that they're doing behind the scenes for Nebraska football right now. But again, you can't just sit here and say, look, guys, you hired me to turn this around, and you know that in me turning this around, we're not going to win a lot in year one. And then come back later in the press conference and say, but you know what we're trying to do is win a lot in year one. Doesn't make any sense, Matt. You gotta. I understand that he is really good with his words and he knows what he's saying, but at the same time, you can't be flip-floppy in the same presser.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Just because, right, Nebraska fans, understanding that it's a new staff, new coach, new mantra, it feels like a lot of the same. And the same stuff is inconsistent. But we're 2 games in. Nebraska has a game that they should compete in and win on Saturday. They have 2 of those in a row.
Winnable game.
I wanted to stay as far away as I could from saying winnable game.
It's a winnable game.
But nonetheless, I guess that's how you could categorize it. Northern Illinois, as folks know, Came into Nebraska a couple years ago, beat Nebraska when in the final year of Mike Riley in 2017. Louisiana Tech hasn't beat Nebraska in their history. They've only played 2 games against Nebraska in their history. Nebraska's 2-0. Last time Louisiana Tech came to Lincoln was in 2006. But
some big numbers.
But nonetheless, Nebraska, 2 quote unquote winnable games that Nebraska should win just based off of hopefully talent level. These next 2 weeks, and maybe we'll see a new quarterback. Maybe we'll see Jeff Sims. Maybe there's no confidence in the backup quarterbacks, and that's indicting. That's quite the indictment on everybody involved in the decision making and going forward, right? Because Nebraska knows Daniel Kaelin's, planning to come to Lincoln next fall, but I think there's also other quarterbacks in the state that might be worthy of a Nebraska offer. And
there's definitely one.
Yeah, there's
definitely one.
There's certainly one more. And so once again, it's just competition's never good or never bad. Never bad. Competition
is always good.
Yeah,
that's what you meant to say.
There you are. But once again, just a kind of a crazy and tumultuous time it feels like, because a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of bad football on one side of the ball, especially. So 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line continue to be open for you guys the entire show. You guys have been awesome. Plenty of texts that we have unfortunately not been able to get to. But for now, let's go ahead and take our final time out. When we come back, we will be joined by the fellows from On the Block. Austin and Strick will come in to give you guys a preview of what's coming up on their show, as well as kind of give their initial reactions on Nebraska, Colorado, and we'll do our weekend pick recap coming up next as we round out Monday's show here on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Blecker and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador online at prg-ne.com.
LES is hosting an EV Ride and Drive event at Haymarket Park on Sunday, September 24th. Attendees can sign up to test drive a variety of electric vehicles. Visit les.com/drive to learn more.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Guys, you've heard me tell you all about Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. It's not just me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun. The atmosphere is a total blast. And I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Farrell's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals or teams. Ironhide Construction project leader, a skilled laborer, and a roofer or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the mission and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their office at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one direction could spell disaster. You can change your fate. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. It's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. Backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Free with Allo. Visit us at fiber.com/hassle-free.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Pit Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors. These street legal cars come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
September is National Literacy Month, a time to encourage the young people in your life to go to the library, pick up a good book, and explore new worlds. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. By getting books in the hands of kids, we can engage these young readers in their learning, how school, community are connected.
Sponsored by the Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening with Nick Sainert.
Even before you start. That was a preemptive shh.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil and he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here one final time on a Monday. Oh,
Hey,
Rico.
Rico.
He's playing with the slider. How about that? How about that?
Sometimes we have too much fun.
Anyway,
We have
402.
to. I post memes to hide my sadness.
We had to, bro. Because listen, it was a salty weekend.
Yeah.
It was. If it wasn't for the zen of going into the mountains and just
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Nice
I would
weather.
have came back. Yeah,
Nice weather in Denver over the weekend.
I would have came back real
Yeah.
salty.
I
Well-
got to go see Nebraska volleyball beat Long Beach State.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
cured some of my sickness.
You
And-
traveling with the team to Stanford?
I wish they're already on the plane. I think they're probably already there. They were on the plane earlier today.
Well, and Tyler Hildebrand called this Nebraska team, one of the best they've had.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
there
a
you
guy
go.
that would know.
Yeah,
He
and
would
he
know.
is a guy that would know.
Also, I guess I've never heard his voice before because hearing him, maybe his voice was just real gravelly from screaming, but I'd never heard his voice before. It doesn't match up with what I thought it was going to be.
Dang. Nonetheless, we gotta do weekend pick recaps real quickly.
Yeah, get it. Y'all
we
get it.
we all went 5 and 6 this week.
I'll take it.
Jay went 4 and 6
Loser.
because the reason Jay has one game fewer.
Who is there? Exactly.
The one reason Jay has one fewer game is because he did not pick the Nebraska Colorado game.
But we know what his pick was.
Yeah, we do know what his pick was, and
was
he
would
would
have
have
made it
been 5 and 6.
He would have been 5 and 6. So nonetheless, but no. So updated records as of right now
We don't need to do
on the 2023 season. Austin is 14 and 14. That's a 500 ball for Austin.
Not making that one money.
Rico is 9 and 19.
Ooh, dude.
Hey, look, what we're doing.
Diarrhea plane.
Hey,
Diarrhea plane.
you know what? Hey,
You return to the York.
Oh, turn around.
Not
hey,
real.
Hey, you knew what you were getting when you hired me.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
We're trying to win. but in trying to win, we're scared of losing.
We're afraid to
Stricky
lose.
10-3.
Nick, and then I am 17 this season.
Yeah,
as
Stricky
well.
10-3.
So, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
not.
that's crazy. Strick hasn't participated once.
He hasn't.
Why? Because he's either been out of town or not present. When the weekend picks.
Actually, you know why?
Here. You just don't call me in.
That is not true.
You know
Where
why?
were you at last Friday?
Because he's scared.
I was here
Where were you at last Friday?
In
the hotel?
green room.
In Denver?
We don't
That's right.
have a green room.
Yeah. He wasn't here last Friday. He was in Denver.
Oh.
Previous Friday, the text saying, I won't join for the crossover. I'll just join for on the block. I have the text.
Proof.
And
you got
then
receipts
I got
already?
receipts. I'm Robert Sala.
Wow.
And then the previous week he was in Orlando. So there you go.
Wow.
Stricky on.
He's scared.
Yep.
That's what it is.
No.
Afraid to lose. Strick.
I'm coming this week.
Okay.
He wants to win so bad
Pause.
he's afraid to lose.
Stop. Austin, this will be a big conversation for you and I. Rico is mad about this. The Cubs have 77 wins.
They do. You hit your bet. Good job.
Yeah, close to 2 games away.
I thought 79.
Yeah, 79. They're 78 and a half. Nonetheless, for the playoff push, the Cubs are calling up their number one.
Anyways, as I was saying,
the Cubs are calling up their number one prospect, Pete Crow Armstrong, a guy they got 2 years ago at the deadline.
What a name
for Javier Baez.
man, just
from the New York
imagine.
Mets.
Just imagine if his parents named him Jim.
Oh,
That's bad, Rico.
That's bad,
Rico. Come on. Man.
We laugh to avoid the pain.
That's bad, Rico. Come on,
Rico.
That is unreal. I mean,
What? I didn't say anything. I just a name.
Nonetheless,
Just a different name. I don't know.
number one prospect. Now, a big part and a big reason why this is maybe important. Cubs aren't the fastest team. They don't have the quickest. All right. We see the Reds. We see the Brewers. Specifically that's NL. But we see a lot of these teams. A lot of their success is on speed, right? Because now with the new pitch rules and the pitch clock, and with pickoff rules and limits, speed is a big part of the game, and it really puts the team on that's hitting on offense in an advantageous position. And now, if the Cubs, who are calling up a guy in Pete Crow Armstrong, who this year has 37 stolen bases in after they just called him, or excuse me, 37 stolen bases in all the minors this year in 2023. If he can translate that or transfer that into the major league level, it's going to provide success and help for Nebraska or for the Cubs.
I love it. Let's go station though.
Yeah, let's pause 10 seconds here.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get him, Austin.
Does he start? Do they bring him off the bench? Hard to mess with a good thing, but you don't bring a guy like that up to sit.
I think he plays. I think you move Bellinger over to first base, probably full time, and then Pete Crow Armstrong in center.
Okay.
What if he plays first base and it messes up his swing?
It won't.
Do you want to laugh at how the Brewers lost yesterday?
Yes, I do.
How'd they lose?
They had 10 no-hit innings.
Oh, yeah, they were playing the Yankees.
Combo. It was a combo.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
combined no-hitter. Corbin
Brewers.
Burns went 8 no-hit innings. Devin Williams came in through a no-hit inning. They get another one in extras and lose.
Dang.
That's crazy, bro.
Dang, that's rough.
Hey, but listen, on the stream, I love this because I think this is irrelevant. We made
relevant or irrelevant?
I think it's irrelevant.
That's
relevant. Pause. Relevant. Okay.
Wait, can you say it again? Irrelevant or irrelevant? Irrelevant.
Pause. Relevant. Okay. Two Card Monty says a lot of people want to compare Rule to Dion, but it's apples to oranges. One is long term, one is quick profit. Rule investing, Dion is day trading. Long term equals last success. Now that part right there, I don't know if I can totally buy into that. I still think those who day trade can still win. There's some that are just that good at it that they have a consistent percentage in which they can win. So I'm not going to say that just because it's a losing method. I think both can be successful. It's just, as I talked about on the block, one is like, one, okay, the best way to explain it, one to me is like an F-16 or a Hornet taking off going hyperbolic.
You know what I'm saying?
Supersonic.
Or super. I can't remember what they call it.
Exponential growth.
Yeah. And then the other is like a 747
Mhm.
that takes off, and it's
It'll get there.
sturdy, but it just kind of a little
Mhm.
slower approach. So one's like an aircraft that takes off and goes straight to 30,000 feet, and the other is just a little bit longer. So I understand it, but I think that's a way of taking a look at it.
Let's also not pretend that Rule and Dion aren't similar in a lot of ways. Just that they built this team is different.
Yeah, I remember about Deion Sanders and his ability to go out and get guys, whether it's from the transporter or whether it's from his recruiting. He has a long history of working with younger guys at the youth level.
Mhm.
He has a lot of ties in youth football, especially in Texas, right, where he used to coach. There's a lot of guys that he coaches on his team right now that he coached and knew when they were young, when they were playing youth football, right? Marquise Buford is a guy that Deion Sanders coached while he was in Texas, obviously, right? So we have to remember that there's a lot of youth football ties with Deion Sanders, and that now that those guys are, whether they're at a lower level in a group of 5, whether in the Division II, JUCO, or even Division I, there's going to be that attraction, that pull to say, hey, yeah, if you're Dylan Edwards, that's the deal with Dylan Edwards was, hey, yeah, come on over. Let's play. Let's go. And that's why Dylan Edwards ended up decommitting from Kansas State, or did not go to Kansas State, where he was initially committed to, and wants to join Deion Sanders.
Well, the thing with Deion is that, like you said, all of those connections that he has, just the fact that it's, prime Deion Sanders himself, he's going to be able to attract a lot of high-level, highly coveted recruits. And you want to say, he's building quickly and all this, but he built quickly in this situation because he had to. The thing is, now after he's built this and he has this foundation that's going to build upon, he's just going to keep bringing in more talent and more talent and more.
That's
He's
what I
not
don't
going
think you see.
He doesn't have to tear this
Yeah.
roster down at the end of the season. And it's not like he went out and got all seniors.
Yeah, it's not a Mel Tucker situation.
No, there's a mix of different
Which
people.
we're going to talk about.
Oh,
Yeah, totally different Mel, the transfer Mel Tucker situation, not the current Mel
Right.
Tucker situation. But it's he has all of this talent that he's now going to build upon with, and he's going to bring in even more talent. I mean, they have the number 1 quarterback in the 2025 class is going to visit them for the USC game, which I mean, great environment that he's going to be in, but having a quarterback in the same building as the quarterback whisperer, Lincoln Riley himself, seems like a bad idea.
OV.
But hey, whatever. It's going to be
double OV.
Yeah, double OV. It's going to be crazy. He's going to have Lincoln on one side and Deion on the other. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the difference with Deion, is just because he built this fast doesn't mean that it's all going to fall apart, because now he's laying the foundation with all of these extremely talented players.
One of the things that he creates is a connection, right? Like that's why in this new day and age of generation, he's not only getting them NIL deals, he's not only, basically they've made their money back dang near already almost. Just think about what they're selling. The Stanford game is going for almost $300-something.
Yeah,
just for the Stanford game. So
that's not Stanford bringing those tickets in.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, for Colorado, who didn't have the money to do it, stepped out on a limb. I don't know how they found it, how they did it. Did they get a loan? Whatever the case may be. They did it. They find the money, but they're going to make that money back and be able to pay it off.
They can't.
exponentially.
They are struggling to keep prime merchandise on the shelves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? And so we were having conversations about that on the way back. Like, they're just struggling. They're struggling to keep the merch on shelves.
Did you almost buy a hoodie?
No. But it's like, here's the deal. Like, at the end of the day, they are two different coaches, to where Nebraska and Matt Rule whole identity, and that's maybe why you signed him to a 9-year deal, is that it's a slow process that eventually you're hoping that there's a foundation.
Why just perspective, why do you think he turned it down twice? You know what I'm saying?
Because it's a hell of a task.
Okay. I mean,
Think about the conversations we're having right now.
Yeah.
You're 2 games in, and the pressure is immense right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Baylor. This is not Temple. This is not Carroll. I mean, like, the pressure is immense right now. And so
that's twice now that this has happened.
With that in
Previously.
mind, right? Yeah. So with that in mind, like, we all are under this collective understanding that if this is going to work, eventually it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Husker fans and the fan base will let off on the pressure or expectations in year one.
this goes back to the thing that I talked about in Austin. I because you're staunch in the discussion of breaking this down. I just have a wonder as to, you had to dang near beg Scott Frost. He turned you down a couple times. You had to kind of go out, and then you had to do the same thing with Rule. But this goes back to that branding thing. That is Nebraska still the brand, or are you still having to beg in order to get the people that you think you want to come?
Counter question.
Yeah.
Is it the brand or is it the fan base?
They're tied together in a lot of ways.
I think the fan base, because the passion of the fan base
is the brand,
is part of the brand.
I would say this too. Nebraska, I think, is in a fascinating position right now to where it can't forget its history, but you also in some ways have to operate like a mid-major, like a group of 5 school at this point. You have to view everything as broken, rebuild, take those baby steps, go back to fundamentals, and work on building an athletic department, let alone just a football program the right way. Rebranding, if that's what you want to call it. I think that's fair. You have to be able to lean on the history when it's necessary, but also move past it, right? That's why I'm not worried when Matt Rule said, the past doesn't apply to me. I'm not worried about the past. When Matt Rule first came here, his introductory press conference, he talked about that game, Nebraska-Penn State that they played, that Nebraska won. He understands, he appreciates the history for what Nebraska is, but I also think when Matt Rule says, I'm not worried about the past, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the last 5 years, more so than anything that happened in the 90s, right? Matt Rule is a self-described college football junkie. I've never heard him in that, right? So he can look at that blueprint of the 90s, respect it, take what works, what he likes, meld it with the new, while also saying, I don't care about the past. When he says that, he's referring to the close game losses of the last 5 years.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Nick, let me throw this at you. You and Rico. You don't want a Dion type potentially here because of what you saw, right? Because I think it can be overwhelming to a culture that's been very Tom Osborne, very Bob
traditional,
Devaney, right?
It's just
so when you're seeing Emmitt Smith and you're seeing Cameron and you're seeing all these types of people,
Irvin,
coming in, that could kind of give you a little. Are we ready for that?
I mean, I'd take it.
Well, and that's the thing is understanding where you're at and the people that are surrounding your program and people that support your program and what they like and what they would appreciate and accept, basically. I think that is in that conversation. We said it after the Minnesota game and after the Colorado versus TCU game on that following Monday, where it was like, hey, Husker fans are so bitter right now against towards Colorado, is because, frankly, I think when it's all said and done, maybe just from the 5,000-foot view, Husker fans will say, man, their coach got it done in the first game. Now it's that their coach got it done in their second game. They figured out a way to get it done and start winning games right from the jump against 2 formidable opponents. Nebraska hasn't been able to figure it out in 5 to 7 years.
That jealousy aspect.
Right. I think there's as much as it probably stings people to admit it, and they'll maybe even never admit it. There's that jealousy and that bitterness and just that hatred, I guess, to a program like Colorado, somebody that you've looked down upon because you've had success against them while you're in the Big 12, in the Big 8, outside of the 2001 game, the 62-36, like outside of those ones, right? Now it's this team was 1-11 last year. They were the worst team and program in football all of 2022.
Defense and offense.
And this is what they get. But we weren't even that bad last year. And now here we are.
This is where, too, I think it's important to read between the lines, right? The fan base will never come out and say, we're jealous of Colorado.
Bingo. Yep.
But what are they saying? Why can Colorado do it, but not us? Colorado won 2 games. Why can't Nebraska turn it around that quickly? They're telling you that they want that for themselves. They're asking the question, why can't we have nice things too?
They're saying it without saying it.
And that aspect of saying it without saying it is something that I really want to get to on our show today, because there is a whole conversation. Do you bench him? Where's the same accountability for Anthony Grant, but not for Jeff Sims, right? What Matt Rule, what Marcus Satterfield are saying and not saying is very important. It speaks volumes, because I get the overarching thought. Why isn't discipline the same? 2 completely different contexts.
Yeah. I always think a factor is who you put in the room. Who are the guys? We are going to look back here in 3-4 years And when staff changes are inevitable, when roster changes are inevitable, we're going to look back in 3 to 4 years and maybe even sooner. Maybe it's at the end of this season. And Nebraska in a year that they go under 500, or even if they get 6-6, and the inevitable staff changes or inevitable player or, roster changes, whatever personnel differences take over, we're going to go back and say, all right, these hires were crucial. Absolutely crucial for Matt Rule to get this thing off the ground. And just to throw it out, right? Husker fans are all happy with Tony White right now. Are we going to be sitting there in 7 months or in 3 years going, all right, Tony White was the right call. Marcus Satterfield was the right call. Jeff Sims was the right, we're going to be saying ourselves these questions, and it's all going to play a part in the conversation, because who are you putting around you to put you and your guys on this roster to be in the best position?
Last thing for me is, what rooms, as we've evaluated over the last 2 days, what rooms are imperative to jump in this transfer portal and find God immediately? Trey Palmer-ish types. I'm not saying it's got to be him, but I'm saying something like it with that type of an impact. Which rooms that, as you've looked at right now, and you can go around and hit it, but which rooms to you that you would say we need to ASAP?
I mean, how much are you going to rely on those young kids? How much are you going to rely on those freshmen that are here now that have to, what did he say, take a test before the game on Saturday to get some playing time? Was it Jalen Lloyd and Malachi Coleman? Like, he said that it's a lot more to learn as a freshman wide receiver than a freshman defensive lineman. So you're going to have to, just based on the progress that you've gotten with the older guys, you're going to have to rely on some of those younger guys. And if they're still not ready, three games in and having that whole summer and everything, how much are you going to play them through the season? I mean, Jalen's got 2 more games left. He got in during the Colorado game. Malachi got in during the Colorado game as well, so he's got 3 games left.
Which, by the way, Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd both listed on the 2 deep. It really, according to Matt Rule, that they're going to play. They're going to play this week.
They got to test in.
I would ask you guys, not necessarily a starting quarterback, but what about back depth?
We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
It's to some degree systemic with what Nebraska football has seen over the last, 5 years.
But why?
You can blame Jeff Sims for a lot of it. You can't blame him for all of it, but it goes beyond him in a lot of ways.
Here's this, a couple quotes and just read from what Matt Rule said today, because he was asked about, and one thing we've discussed multiple years over the course of the last few years with the quarterback room specifically is that jump from QB1, and if they're injured, then the QB2, QB3, QB4, whatever. Now, he was asked about the gap between Sims and the other QBs, and this is what Rule said. I just leaned back on what I said at the end of training camp. I felt like we could win with Chuba, and I felt like we could win with Heinrich. They both can run, so we can things that we're doing quarterback run wise. Some of the plays that we've called have been quarterback draws. Maybe they've been seen as a scramble, but we've called some quarterback draws as executed offense. Right now, the offense is what we want to do in role. I think all of us as a team, we have to be better on offense to have a chance to win games, but I have a lot of confidence in both of those guys. He's talking about Harburg and Purdy, and I think they both bring unique skill sets to the table.
But he doesn't. That's what I'm saying about reading between the lines.
Exactly.
The actions in the words. Clearly, if he had any confidence in either one of those guys, the thought of turning to them
exactly
in the first half.
But there wasn't even what he said after the game.
That's what I'm saying.
There wasn't even a
Sims
thought.
is the guy moving forward. There is no discussion.
There wasn't even a thought of moving on.
And that's what we
Sims.
learned from today. That's what we learned from today's press conference, was that I came away riding down that elevator at Memorial Stadium going, Jeff Sims is the guy, whether he's 85% healthy or 100% healthy, because Nebraska's staff feels like, and I compared it to 2019 Martinez, where the previous staff felt like a 90% healthy or 85 Martinez gave him to win the game than a healthy Luke McCaffrey, right?
Broken jaw
or a healthy Andrew, like things like that. That's what this feels like at this sense. That now, unfortunately, multiple years later, it's still the same, to where this staff feels, and we can't question them. We can't because we haven't seen practice. We don't know the development of Heinrich. We don't know the development of Chuba. We can't question them to where they feel like that Nebraska has a better chance of operating the offense to the best of its ability and put Nebraska in the best chance to win with a mostly healthy Jeff Sims rather than a fully healthy Heinrich Harburg or Chuba Purdy.
What you question is what went into the evaluation to get Jeff Sims to campus to begin with. That's where the questions lie.
What did you see?
Because we're not and we have thoughts specifically on all of these quarterbacks, but to me, it's less about what they're showing and not showing now, and more what did the coaching staff see to begin with.
It feels like a person that's over 50, and they've lived a life.
Yeah,
you've kind of come to a conclusion that this is who they are.
This is the person you.
this is what you're dealing with. You either got to adjust to it or move on from it. And I think this is what it feels like to me. It's kind of like you kind of had an idea of this is what he is. He's a junior now.
Yeah.
In what way are you gonna make him?
Well, and I
want to know.
I think they felt like they were going to be able to truly coach maybe the turnovers out of him. I think that was the case. They admitted that
makes a difference.
I think the offense. I think that
offense makes a difference.
Style of offense. I think the people around him as well, the surrounding talent around Jeff Sims, right? We saw it on Saturday. There was a wide open Alex Bullock going across the middle of the field, a very good throw from Jeff Sims, and it just was dropped.
Yeah.
And on a crucial third down. I think surrounding talent plays a factor into that.
I agree too.
Why does Shadur Sanders seem so calm, cool, and collected every single time he's in the back? He's in the backfield. It's because he's got playmakers all around him. That if one guy is not open, the second guy's going to make sure that he gets open. And if he's not, then the guy in the backfield. Like there's multiple options, and Nebraska unfortunately doesn't have that. Where last year they had a Trey Palmer where Casey Thompson could just chuck it down there.
Every one of Shadur Sanders' options are if this guy isn't open, I know that this guy is run a slant route and this mark at this point, and he's going to be there.
And it's also more impressive for what the defense did early.
Yeah,
that's why I was most impressed because they literally handled themselves.
It also allows Shadur Sanders to stay clean.
Yeah,
allow to stay healthy because he doesn't do everything on his own. And so I think there's a giant blend here.
I want to know who the coaches and scouts who told Matt Rule that he needs to go out and get Jeff Sims are.
Especially by kicking the other guy out.
Yeah. Why aren't you targeting this guy? You need to bring this guy.
He's an NFL guy. So there you go. What's coming up on the show?
Let me just preface what's coming up on the show with this. Everything that I'm going to be talking about comes from the realm of nobody is good enough. Everyone has to be better. Okay. Before you yell at me, no one is good enough. Everyone has to be better. We'll get specifics. We'll get in position and around college ball. Interesting games, NFL as well this weekend, and chat some recruiting with Brian Munson.
There it is. Make sure you stick around on the block. Strick and us coming up next. Thanks to for you guys for listening. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 1 o'clock. So make sure you come on by. Stick around on the block coming up next.
Adios.
When you think of places with tons of great beer selections and amazing food menu in Omaha, the conversation should start and end with Bärschen Beer Garden in Benson. With more than 30 beers on tap, including several German options, you're sure to find something you like. And don't forget their Nashville hot chicken sandwich or any of their delicious hamburgers. Start off with the warm house-made pretzels and you're on to a great day at Bärschen Beer Garden in the heart of Benson in Omaha. Join us at this year's Ignite Theater on Thursday, September 14th for an inspiring night of stories that change. Get your tickets at
me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun. The atmosphere is a total blast. And I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Pharaoh's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Pharaoh's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
LES is hosting an EV Ride and Drive event at Haymarket Park on Sunday, September 24th. Attendees can sign up to test drive a variety of electric vehicles. Visit les.com/drive to learn more.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today. Access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree, and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and